What happens when a grumpy old man's perfectly quiet life is interrupted by the loudest family on the block? A Man Called Otto follows Otto, a cranky widower who wants nothing more than to be left alone and end his life until his new neighbors move in and refuse to take the hint. What starts as constant annoyance slowly turns into an unexpected friendship that brings humor, warmth, and a bit of chaos back into his world. So let's dive straight in. At the start of the movie, Otto Anderson buys a rope from a hardware store. He argues with the cashier over being overcharged by a few cents. The people in his neighborhood think he's always grumpy and unfriendly. Still, a few neighbors like Jimmy try to be friendly with him. On his last day at work, Otto finds out that his coworkers have thrown a small retirement party for him, but he refuses to join. After leaving, he goes home and cancels his electricity service, planning to end his life. He ties a noose in his kitchen, ready to hang himself, but his plan gets interrupted when he sees new neighbors struggling to park their moving van. Otto goes outside to help them, meeting the Mendez family, husband Tommy, his pregnant wife Marisol, and their two young daughters, Luna and Abby. He helps them back up the van, complaining the entire time, then returns home to continue with his suicide attempt. Before he can, Tommy and Marisol knock on his door, bringing him a home-cooked meal. After eating, he decides to try hanging himself again, but the ceiling hook breaks, and he falls to the floor. After the failed attempt, Otto sees an ad for discounted flowers and decides to visit the cemetery. He takes a bouquet to the grave of his late wife, Sonia, and talks to her as if she were still alive. While visiting, Otto remembers his past. He recalls being rejected from the army because of a heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. On a train trip back home to Pittsburgh, Otto saw Sonia drop a book. He chased after her to return it, got on the wrong train by mistake, and ended up sitting beside her. When he didn't have enough money for a ticket, Sonia gave him some coins, including a silver quarter, which he still keeps. Tommy and Marisol visit again with Salvadoran cookies and ask to borrow his ladder. Another neighbor, Anita, also asks Otto to help fix her broken radiator. He agrees, but only if she returns a garden hose she borrowed months ago. Anita's husband, Ruben, used to be close to Otto, but they had a falling out because Ruben once tried to take charge of their neighborhood association. Now Ruben is sick and can barely move. Anita tells Otto that her son wants to move Ruben to a nursing home. After fixing the radiator, Otto tries to leave, but Ruben grabs the garden hose, almost as if he knows Otto plans to use it for something bad. Otto still takes it and goes home. This time, Otto sits in his car inside the garage and connects the hose to the exhaust, planning to die from carbon monoxide poisoning. As he starts the engine, he remembers a dinner with Sonia when they were young. Back then, Otto felt lost because he couldn't join the army or find a job, and he thought Sonia might leave him. But instead, she took his hand and kissed him, showing that she loved him no matter what. Just then, Marisol knocks on the garage door, shouting for help. Tommy has fallen off a ladder and needs to go to the hospital. Otto stops his attempt and drives her there. At the hospital, Otto looks after Luna and Abby while Marisol checks on Tommy. He even reads them a story in a funny voice, and the girls start calling him Abuelo Otto, which means Grandpa Otto. A clown named Beppo arrives to entertain the kids and asks Otto for a coin to perform a trick. Otto gives him Sonia's silver quarter but demands it back afterward. Beppo replaces it with another coin, and Otto realizes he's been tricked. Furious, Otto attacks the clown, causing a scene until hospital staff break it up. Later, he takes the family home, and Marisol notices that, for the first time, Otto seems to smile a little. The next morning, Marisol finds a stray cat lying in the snow, nearly frozen. She and Jimmy take it to Otto's house, and together they help warm it up. Jimmy wants to keep the cat, but discovers he's allergic, so Otto ends up taking it in. Otto visits the train station and remembers proposing to Sonia there years ago. Feeling sad, he walks toward the train tracks, seemingly planning to end his life. But before he can do anything, a man nearby faints and falls onto the tracks. Everyone else just films it on their phones, but Otto jumps down and saves the man right before the train arrives. Another person helps Otto back up in time. People at the station call him a hero, but Otto just walks away quietly. Later, Marisol comes by and gives him a drawing from Abby. In the picture, Otto is the only one colored in, showing how important he has become to their family. Soon after, Jimmy visits Otto again, bringing the cat and explaining that his allergies make it impossible to keep it. Otto accepts the cat and takes it to Sonia's grave. At the cemetery, Otto talks to Sonia about his new neighbors. He tells her how they've started to become part of his life. Later, Otto meets a teenage boy named Malcolm who delivers newspapers on his bicycle. Otto scolds him for riding on the sidewalk, but Malcolm tells him that he used to know Sonia. She was his teacher. He explains that Sonia was the first person to accept his new name and support his identity as a transgender boy, even encouraging other teachers to do the same. Hearing this makes Otto smile for the first time in a while, and he starts to treat Malcolm kindly. Otto then decides to teach Marisol how to drive his car, which has a manual transmission. Marisol is nervous and keeps stalling the car, especially when another driver honks at her. Otto yells at the driver to leave her alone and helps Marisol stay calm until she gets the hang of it. Afterward, he takes her to a pastry shop he used to visit with Sonia and buys her a Swedish eclair, the same one he and Sonia used to enjoy together. While they sit there, Otto tells Marisol about how he and Sonia first moved into their neighborhood and became best friends with Ruben and Anita. The couples were close, but later had disagreements, mostly about their love for different car brands. Marisol listens patiently, understanding Otto more than before. One evening, Marisol and Tommy go out for a date and ask Otto to babysit their daughters, Luna and Abby. Otto agrees, showing how much he's grown close to them. Later, he helps Malcolm fix his bike chain when a young journalist named Sherry Kenzie approaches him. She wants to record an interview about how he saved the man at the train station, but Otto politely refuses. Marisol stops by again and offers to help Otto clean out some of Sonia's old clothes, but he gets upset and refuses her help. Around the same time, an agent from Die in America returns, telling Otto that they know about his heart condition and other personal information. This upsets him even more. Otto's heart begins to hurt, and when Marisol knocks on his door, worried, he ignores her and goes back inside. Otto finds his old rifle and a hat from Niagara Falls, which triggers a painful memory. He remembers the bus accident that happened when he and Sonia were returning from a trip. Sonia was 6 months pregnant at the time. The crash left her paralyzed, and they lost their baby. The memory breaks Otto's heart all over again. While holding the gun, he accidentally pulls the trigger when someone knocks at his door, but thankfully, no one is hurt. It turns out to be Malcolm, who says his parents kicked him out for being transgender. He asks to stay with Otto for a while, and Otto quietly agrees. The next morning, Malcolm makes breakfast for both of them and tags along as Otto makes his usual neighborhood rounds. During their walk, Jimmy stops them to tell Otto that Die in America is trying to evict Ruben and Anita from their home. The company discovered that Anita has Parkinson's disease and wants to use that to force them out. They even claimed that Anita's son Chris had agreed to sell the house, but Anita says she hasn't spoken to him in years since he moved to Japan. Otto wants to help but needs to make a call. Marisol refuses to lend him her phone because he had yelled at her earlier. Otto finally apologizes and admits that he's been struggling since Sonia's death and has been trying to end his life. He also explains how he was once removed from the neighborhood association after arguing with the board because they refused to build a ramp for Sonia's wheelchair. Hearing all this, Marisol forgives him and lets him use her phone. Otto calls Sherry and her news crew to come record what's happening at Ruben and Anita's house. When the agents from Die in America arrive to kick them out, Sherry films the confrontation. Otto exposes them for illegally obtaining medical records and lying about Chris agreeing to sell his parents' home. The agents insist no one can take care of Ruben and Anita, but Jimmy steps up and says he will because they're like family to him. The crowd supports Jimmy, and the company's people are forced to leave in embarrassment. Everyone celebrates the small victory, but Otto suddenly collapses from heart pain. Marisol rushes him to the hospital, where the doctor tells her that Otto's heart is physically enlarged. Not long after, Marisol gives birth to a baby boy named Marco. Otto visits them and gives her a wooden crib he once built for his own unborn son, who never got to live. He gifts it to Marco as a gesture of love. Later, Otto takes Marisol and her family to visit Sonia's grave, proudly introducing them to her. Afterward, Otto checks in on Ruben and Anita again. Ruben, who can barely move or speak, manages to give Otto a small smile, something Otto hadn't seen from him in years. A few years pass. Otto gives his old car to Malcolm as a gift and writes a letter, leaving it on his bedside table. He also buys a new Chevy and continues spending time with Marisol's family, often driving them to their favorite bakery. One winter morning, Tommy notices that Otto hasn't cleared the snow from his walkway. He and Marisol go to check on him and sadly find Otto has passed away peacefully in his sleep from his heart condition. Marisol breaks down crying while Tommy finds the letter Otto left for her. In the letter, Otto explains that he knew his time was coming, so he arranged everything with his lawyer. He left his house, savings, and cat to Marisol and her family to help them live comfortably and pay for the girl's education. He signs the letter, Abuelo Otto, showing how much they had become like family to him. At Otto's funeral, many people attend, Marisol and her family, Malcolm, Jimmy, and even Sherry. Everyone shares warm memories of him. Jimmy and Malcolm promise to continue Otto's daily routines around the neighborhood, keeping his spirit alive. In the final scene, Otto is buried beside his beloved wife Sonia, finally at peace and surrounded by the people who loved him most.